Welcome to Kicking It with KeKe. Kicking It with KeKe. Kicking It with KeKe. Full of personalities. Switching up the storyline on God, we making history. Writing books, changing lives, one day at a time. Put your problems to the side. Enjoy yourself. Free your mind. Kicking It with KeKe.
What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. Y'all know how it is. We go through life, we go through love, and we go through all other shit. I am your host, Arthur KeKe Chanel. I am joined with one of my dear friends. She is a regular to my platform, but new to the podcast. Pastor Keisha. Is that all right? You want me to pass you? How you want me to refer to you tonight?
Look, I'm not hung up on names. So however you decide is up to you.
Like, she wear many hats, and I'll give her a chance to introduce herself. But I have to do that mental check-in. How are you? How have you been? How have life been? I know you got a grandbaby that's just won't let you go.
Yes, life has been good. I have no complaints. It wouldn't do any good if I list them anyway.
Absolutely.
So life has been good, busy.
Mhm.
Just trying to stay, healthy and whole, and trying to take care of her.
Mhm.
She's just turned one, and
Yay.
and she's living up to every bit of it. And so just enjoying life, making memories and taking it as it comes.
Absolutely. So, my platform is a personal development platform. We all about, enriching our lives, mind, body, and spirit, being our best selves, having our best life that we possibly can be under the circumstances, because life happens,
And it
and
happens
it's
fast.
something that is gonna happen. It's
Hmm.
better than the alternative, right?
Hmm.
So before we get into today's topic, tell the people who you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I am LaKisha Johnson. I am a pastor, assistant pastor. I'm an author. I sometimes I blog, not as much as I used to. I write Christian fiction. I have currently 30 titles, devotionals, journals, and Christian fiction, urban Christian fiction books. I'm also a mother, a wife, a grandmother. I have come from a large family, native of Memphis, Tennessee, currently staying in Olive Branch, Mississippi, which is a stone's throw from Memphis. And what you see is what you get. I don't pretend to be anything other. Spent too many years living um, as somebody I wasn't happy then, struggling. So now what you see is who I am. What I portray to be on social media is who I am in person. I don't portray to be anything other than who I am. Accept me for who I am or not. That's on
Absolutely.
you. Uh,
Absolutely.
I don't live by the beat of anyone else's drums. I don't force myself on anybody. I tell anybody when it comes to books, preaching, ministry, all those type of things, it's the same way. I
Mhm.
don't force myself on anybody. You accept me or you don't.
Absolutely. And I love that. And that's what I love most about you, because we met, it's been a while. Was it
Yes.
2013, 14ish, somewhere like that, in Memphis
Mm-hmm.
at the book festival? And
Mm-hmm.
like, we've been in
Yep.
each other's
Yep.
circle ever since then. And I'm so glad that we're connected. We may not talk all the time, but I know that if I need you to listen or pour into me, you do that. And you do that anyway
Absolutely.
with your
Absolutely.
with your series, your blog series called
Mm-hmm.
Dear Sis. And this is what the topic for tonight is: Dear Sis, not excluding the brothers,
Mm-hmm.
because this can apply to them as well. But we're
Right.
talking about the sisters nowadays,
Right.
because we are in March and it's International Women's Month, right?
Right.
Well, it's Women's Month, not International, but
Mm-hmm.
Women's History Month. So we just gonna get into, how did Dear Sis come about?
It actually it wasn't anything I planned.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on TikTok one day and just happened to do a TikTok, and I started off with Dear Sis,
Mm-hmm.
and the next day or day after, I did another one and said Dear Sis, and And my best friend had been telling me, when I was doing devotional or do like devotional nuggets, she was like, you need to do this in a video. And I was like, never paying no mind. It's something else to add to the already growing list of things I got to do. But
Right.
it just started from there. And, and I got great feedback from TikTok. People who saying, I need to hear this. And, it's just 60 seconds of encouragement for somebody, who don't have a long time to sit up and listen to a message or, all those type of things. There's something you can listen to real quick and get the meat of whatever it is. And it just went from there, and so I don't do a vlog every day, but I try to do something, when God leads, because I've said it once before that I don't post them to go viral. I post them in order to help somebody who needs it.
And see, they be right on time. They right on
Mhm.
time, because I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Was she in my mind just a few minutes ago? And I'm like, wow, it's amazing how your words, and I joke with you about this before, how you go into that different voice.
Yes.
So, y'all, if y'all listening, y'all need to go check out my sister on Instagram and her blog series. Well, it's not really a series, like she said, it's a devotion. She don't do it every day, but she has this voice, and it's so empowering. And I may be messing it up because I've been tongue-tied all day, but it's so impactful. Let's put it like that. That it's just it gives you goosebumps. It gives me like that hug to my heart, like when I need it. I'm like, how did she get this? Where did that voice come from? How did that come about? Do you?
And somebody else says that when I start talking, it's like it just stands up.
Yeah, like,
so
hey, I'm here now. I'm here.
Right.
So, okay, and so, dear sis, the one that got me, and it still resonates to this day, and I sent you a message after I heard it. It's called breathe. Taking a moment. And we as women forget to breathe sometimes. So to anyone who's listening,
I mean, we have so much going on, and
right.
Especially if you're working from home, then you still have to be all those things plus working, and don't have small children in the house, and you got them in the house taking care of them, and then a lot of times we do forget to breathe because we doing this repetitive thing over and over again, from the time we get up in the morning to the time we lay down at night, and then when you lay down at night, you still don't have time to take a breath because you sleep.
Right.
And so, and we don't take the moment to breathe. We don't take it. And some of us don't take a moment to breathe because if we sit down long enough, we may just break,
right.
And that emotion may come out. So sometimes you don't take that moment to breathe because if you sit down in that moment, everything just may come pouring out and you don't have time for it, essentially,
And then you become so exhausted for not breathing. Like I don't know, subconsciously I've done that before. My mama said when I was a young kid and I got in trouble and I didn't like to get hollered at, she said she would find me holding my breath. And she said a couple of times I held my breath so long I was turning purple and blue.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I could laugh about it now, but I'm like, no, that wasn't me. Who y'all talking about? That was not me. And my godmother, my nanny, she said, oh yeah, that was you. You always try to hold your breath. And so that I guess that was one of the moments that I reflected on when I heard you talk about that, how I used to hold my breath. And that right there can be so exhausting when you forget to breathe that you lose a sense of who you are. Your sanity is questioned. Your mental health is thrown off track. So, how important is it to take a moment, and not just for women, because I know we're talking about Dear Sis and we're pointing to women, but how important do you believe that it is that we take a moment to process things on a daily basis?
It's very important because if we forget to breathe in our natural state, we lose oxygen. And if we lose oxygen, we impact our brain. And it's essentially the same thing when it comes to life. Because if you don't process the things that's going on, one thing's gonna happen. Either it's gonna force you to be silent, or it's gonna force you to act out because you're trying to react to everything that you got. Because if you put pressure on something long enough, it's gonna burst. And it's the same thing when it comes to not taking a moment to take a breath, because you're not processing everything. You're constantly running. You know how somebody is, if you're in an accident, some you have that adrenaline pumping, and it's not until the adrenaline wears off that you start to feel the pain.
Right.
It's the same way. You know, and if we don't take a moment, at least a moment. Now, that's why I tell people all the time, let's find some type of moment. You know, even and I have found even for myself that working from home, you could get so caught up sitting in your office or wherever you are that you forget to take a break because you're at home.
I talked about we just had a conversation with a girl about this today.
Yeah, because you're sitting at home, and it's the same way. So I have to force myself. Now that I have my grandbaby here, it's different. But before, you know, I have to force myself to take a break because I'm sitting in the same place. And my husband, he always jokes and say, "I don't see how you sit in the house all week." And I was like, "Well, I'm used to it now, you know." But I've learned to take those moments. I've learned to take a lunch break, even though I'm at home, you know, to just get away from the computer, to just, you know, just
change of scenery, right?
You know?
Yeah.
And it's the same for when it comes to life. We have to take the moment to breathe, you know, and put the kids to bed, you know, and go sit in the corner and read a book, or brew you a cup of tea, or, you know, something like that, just to take a moment in order to let your mind relax. Because if not, then you'll have everything going through your mind. Did I do this? Did I finish this? Did I do this right? Did I do the laundry? Did I turn the washing machine on? You know, all that type of stuff. But if you just take a moment to say, I'm not doing anything, even for 10 minutes, I'm just going to sit here and process what has happened through the day. And we need to do it because it's important.
It is important. And I'm glad that you say that, like, take a moment to just relax. But how important is it to find that spot? Like, find a spot that's not related to work or anything, just for you to relax. You know, when you're in this spot, in this moment, it's all about me relaxing, letting go of the day. Like, how important is that we find places like that?
Yeah, because it creates a personal space for you, you know, and whether it's just a chair in the corner that has some books on it that you like to read, or your favorite blanket, or you know, your laptop, or your tablet, or whatever it is, or even nothing, you know, just somewhere where I know that I'm gonna sit here. You know, I have a prayer closet that I sometimes go into, and when I'm in there, nobody knows not to mess with me, because that's where you know, that's where I go. You know, I don't mind you knocking on my door if I'm here in the office, but if I'm in that prayer closet, they know don't bother me. And sometimes it's just to sit, you know, not even to go in to pray or even have a conversation. Sometimes it's just to sit in the moment, you know, because then it's just like, let me take a breath. You know, everything, while I got this moment, let me take a breath, because I'm not mama, I'm not wife, I'm not sister, I'm not any of those things. I'm just taking a moment. And it's important, you know, even if we go sit in the car, you know, and listen to some music for a minute. You don't even have to drive. Just sit in the car, you know, just to have a moment, because it's in those moments that you find your strength again. It's in those moments that you find the hope to just try again, because you may be at your wit's end, you know, dealing with a child who may be teething, or going through, who may be sick, or all this type, or a spouse who got COVID. And you taking care of that. You just need that moment to find your strength again, to say, you know, things gonna get better. You know, because if not, you run the risk of running again on adrenaline, and then you just going through the motions, not really dealing with it, or not dealing with it. You just going through the motions. But if you sit for a moment, you'll say, everything gonna be all right. Just let me take this breath. Let me take this moment. Let me turn this music on, and you know, or listen to a podcast, or let me listen to an audible book, you know, something like that, because you need it. Just if not just for the moment, just to strengthen you again, just to give you the push you need to keep going.
And I find that a lot of people push those moments that they need a moment to the back burner, because they feel like it's being selfish, or somebody's gonna look at them as they're being selfish. Speak to someone who may be listening that's feeling like that, feeling like taking moments to just breathe is selfish.
Listen, the most selfish thing you can do to self is not take care of you. You know, when you have so much going on, when you're dealing with everybody else, and dealing with, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a person who is just you. Doesn't matter if you're a single mom, if you're a wife, if you are, in whatever type of relationship you are, it's not selfish to take a moment, because the last thing you want to do is be forced to take a moment because you're tied to somebody's hospital bed and can't get up, or you're forced to take a moment because your body has shut down, and now you can't fight off any illnesses because your immune system is weak because you're not strong enough to fight what is attacking your body.
Right.
And it's the sign, and it's not just sickness, it's principalities, it's spiritual wickedness, it's the enemy, all those type of things. If we're not strong enough to handle those moments will come when we're least expecting it and knock us on our butt. And when it knocks us down, we won't even have the strength to get up because we never took the moment. And I'm not saying take a week, but sometimes it
might take
a week, take a week.
Right.
And, and I tell people who say it's selfish, take a moment to hell with them people.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, them ones who saying you being selfish is the one who constantly calling you.
Yes.
Them be the ones who don't want you to tell them no. Them be the ones that's constantly saying, I need you to do this, or can you do this for me? They'll never call just to check on you, because every time they call and you see their number, you cringe because you know they could ask you to do something.
Right.
But those will be the ones who saying you selfish for taking time instead of saying, let me get the kids tonight while you take a moment to rest. Because I know you got to be up at 5 o'clock and you don't go to bed till 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to be right back up at 4 hours doing this all over again. And I'm constantly calling you to help. So let me take the kids for a night so that you can get some rest. No. And people, if anybody in your life is telling you that you're being selfish for taking time for you, you need to reevaluate their relationship. And I don't care who it is. It could be family, friend. It could be best friend of 32 years. I don't care who it is. If anybody tells you you're being selfish for taking time for you, you don't need them.
Absolutely, because they have hidden agendas, like you said. They want you to always be available for them, because they always got something going. Never pour into you, but you always pouring into them. And I was talking to someone, and I forget who it was, but we were having a conversation about constantly pouring into people. You're pouring into someone who may not want that, and they're stepping out the way. So what you're pouring is hitting the ground. It's not feeling them. So anybody that's in your life, for listeners who are tuning in, that's constantly taken and it's never given, like she said, it's time to reevaluate their position in your life. And it's okay to take a step back from. Sometimes you have to love people from a distance, and it's okay. Like, know that it's okay to take care of you first. You have to breathe. Right. And while you're breathing, it will be revealed who's the leech versus someone that's, giving that reciprocity. Right. And so being hit hard, and, for the last couple of years, we've all been in the same boat when it comes to being hit hard with this pandemic. And we're finally, I don't know what it is, because I don't know if it's about to be over, it's about to get worse. I just don't know. So when it comes to getting hit hard with life and circumstances, what is some words of encouragement that you can offer anyone who's listening about taking that moment to breathe through the getting hard moments? You have to take, especially during the hard moments. I did a Dear Sis once where I said, you have to sometimes cry sis through the crisis. And most times as women, we don't even take a moment to cry because, somebody's telling you to be strong, or you don't even have a minute, you don't even have a moment to cry. When you're going through those hard moments, you have to be able to deal with those hard moments that come. Because again, it's like pouring something, it's like constantly packing something on top of things when you don't deal with it. So, you've been hit with loss after loss, or death after death. You've been hit with sickness after sickness. You've been hit with, people losing jobs and homes been foreclosed, or car been repossessed, or, laid off from a job that you've been on for 25 years, or, unemployment cut off, or all those type of things. So you've been taking hit after hit. And at some point, even if in a boxing ring, even at some point when two boxers are in a ring and they're constantly hitting each other, taking hit after hit, at some point that round gonna end, because the time has ran out, because they have to give that boxer a moment to gather themselves, to retreat to their corners, get some instructions from the people that's working with them on the sideline, get water, get put, tend to their wounds, all those type of things. They have to take those moments.
because if not, they run the risk of dragging them down. So they have to take a moment. It's the same thing for us.
Right.
We're in a boxing ring of life that's hitting us hit after hit. It doesn't matter. Whatever you try to do is constantly hitting you hit after hit. If you don't take a moment to retreat to your corner in order to talk to your instructor or your coach or whoever it is that's been training you for this, if you don't take a moment to go back to your corner in order to get some instructions, you might not survive.
Right.
And that's the thing that we have to realize. At some point in time, the round got to end. And you got to take a moment to say, let me get myself together, because I may need some instructions from somebody who got more knowledge in whatever it is I'm going through. So let me sit with somebody for a minute who can give me some stuff, because they may tell me you need to stand this way, or you need to move this way, when you need to block this way, or you need to dodge this or that we don't even see coming. But they've been paying attention because they sit on the sidelines.
Yes.
So they paying attention to my enemy, and they know the stance the enemy gonna take towards me. They know the way they hit. They know the way they've been watching them all these rounds. So I don't take that time or talk to the person in the corner. I may not even survive the next round.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't even realize that you have to take that moment, because if you don't take that moment, you run the risk of your body getting tore up and battered and bruised. You lose your strength. Then you don't even know where you are, because your mind is all over the place, or you've been knocked senseless because you're not taking a moment. And that's why we have to take a moment to breathe. Right. We have to take a moment, even if it's just a quick minute in between rounds, just to get a drink of water, just to get some further instructions, just to get somebody to say, you got this, keep going. I can see your opponent getting weak, because you don't see it. Right. Because you ain't got time to stop and see how your opponent is reacting to your hits, but somebody on your corner is, and they telling you wearing them down. But the only thing you doing is constantly hitting. Right. But if you never take that break, you won't even be able to get to build your strength. Absolutely. And that's what we have to do, especially in this day and time.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a cycle of life. We will all go through hard moments. We will all get hit hard at some point. But like, I love how you say you have to have those people in your corner who is paying attention, that can give you the direction to help you overcome and defeat the opponent, whatever that may be. Right. And
because when you defeat one, another one coming. Because it doesn't stop. It's the circle of life. It never stops. And even though you defeat this one opponent, it may be months, years, or whatever before, but another one coming. Oh yeah. Like my grandmama used to say, you may not be in a storm, but you better prepare, because one coming. Right. And it's the same thing. So even though you've defeated this enemy, or you overcome this hit, another one coming. And you got to be able to be mentally and emotionally and physically able to withstand the hit, because the enemy don't care about you being tired. The enemy don't care that you got 5 kids. The enemy don't care that you don't work 12 hours. The enemy don't care that you got to fix dinner. You got to do laundry. You got to pack lunches. The enemy don't care, because he gonna keep coming, because he knows that if you never take a moment, you at one point in time you're gonna be too tired to resist him. Absolutely. And when you at that moment, when you too tired to resist him, when he gonna come in and out hell gonna break loose in your life. And now here you are trying to figure out, why this happening to me? Why me, God? Why is this happening to me? Because you didn't take the time. Right. You didn't take the time, and we have to take those moments. When in the Bible, when Elijah was sitting next to the brook, and he kept falling asleep after he had defeated all of them false prophets of Baal, God told him to get up and eat. Because this next journey is going to be hard for you. And if you don't eat, you won't even have the strength to endure. And it's the same for us. Right. We won't even take the time to eat. Right. Because we doing so many other things. I really, really dislike the saying, I sleep when I'm dead. Me too. Oh my God. Speak about it. Let's talk about it. Why do you, I can tell you why I hate it, but why do you know how you know what you're gonna do when you're dead? What we fail to realize is rest is a weapon. Oh. Because, and you tell my I sleep when I'm dead, how you gonna know? How you gonna know that you're gonna sleep when you I cannot stand that. And when we've made this thing to say, well, I gotta constantly do this, I gotta constantly chase the bag, I got to constantly do this now, because if you work the right way, the bag will chase you. And here you are talking about I sleep when I'm dead. Baby, you can't sleep when you dead, because you dead. And everything that you don't work for, them bags that you've been chasing, you're gonna leave for somebody in your family to fight over. You better take your rest.
Take your
Because
rest.
rest is a weapon. We have to take the moments. We have to breathe. We have to do all those things because if not, you're gonna be dead.
Yeah, you're gonna be susceptible to everything, like unnecessary illnesses,
Mm-hmm.
unnecessary like life issues, mental illness. Because when you're not taking care of yourself, you're not making sure that your mental health is intact. That
Mm-hmm.
can lead to mental illness.
Right.
And so I really hate that saying I'll sleep when I'm dead, because no, you need to rest so you can be fully
Right.
ready for whatever
Right.
life brings at you.
Right.
So anyone who is listening that has that saying that they say that I'll sleep when I'm dead, stop it.
Right.
Stop saying
Quick.
it.
Stop it
Rest.
now.
Rest is required. You have to get
Mm-hmm.
proper rest. You have to eat. You have to drink water. You have to
Mm-hmm.
do all of the things that you need to do to make sure that you're operating as your best self. And if you constantly, like she said, chasing the bag, you gonna look older than what you are
Absolutely.
too soon, because you're depriving
Absolutely.
yourself from proper rest. It's okay to be a grind and work, but don't work yourself to death.
Right.
We only
You
get
know,
one
I have to
body.
tell, we had some new people who came on our job at work, and they went from being hourly employees to being salaried employees. And one of the first things I told them, you ain't hourly no more.
Mm,
So all them hours that you spent, working when you were getting paid for them, you ain't getting paid for them no more. So
absolutely.
you need to create a time to where you can make sure you get your work done within these set amount of hours, because the job ain't gonna care that you work 12 hours. You're getting paid for 8. And you have to find a way to make work-life balance fit in your life. Because if you
Absolutely.
all you're doing is sitting, constantly toiling for them, when they
Mm-hmm.
going home at 5 o'clock, and here
Mm-hmm.
you are, you're sitting constantly beating away at the computer, and you getting paid for 8 hours, but you're working for 10 and 12. Now you create some space to
Mm-hmm.
where you can get your mind right, because then you run the risk, even when you're hungry, you make bad decisions,
Yes.
because you're not feeding your brain the nutrients that it needs. So now
Mm-hmm.
here you are, you're popping off, you're irritable, you're angry, you're doing all these things because you didn't even take a moment to eat, because you were saying, I gotta work, I gotta do this, or you're not
Mm-hmm.
taking the time to sleep because you're saying I gotta sleep when I'm dead, or
Mm-hmm.
you're constantly working because you're saying I'm chasing a bag, and
Mm-hmm.
then the bag that you're chasing you will never get, because you're
Mm-hmm.
chasing it the wrong way. The
Mm-hmm.
Bible says that when you be at peace with God, prosperity will come to you.
Yes.
And nowhere in the Bible did God tell you to chase after riches. And that's the thing where we get it wrong. We think that we have to do all these things, and we don't.
No.
If you work smart, not hard, you can get the things that you need. And that's the type of thing. But we don't do that. Most times we don't even have time to read the word, or we're not having time to even spend in prayer, or we're not having time to listen, because we got so much other stuff going on, and we need to
Mm-hmm.
take the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Take the moment to breathe. And that's what, when I did that, dear sis, I mean, that's just breathe.
Just breathe.
Even for a moment, just breathe. Because
Mm-hmm.
when you're going through pain, and that's how you having a procedure, or you're doing something that causes you pain, most times we stop breathing, and they tell you to breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe through the
Yes.
pain.
Yes.
Because here we are saying, we clenching up, and it's they said, they'll
They
tell you to
want you to
breathe.
calm. Just
They
breathe so
want you
you
to
can
calm
calm
down,
down.
because breathing allows, your lungs to inflate, allows oxygen to come in, allows all those type of things. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what we need to
Mm-hmm.
do. I ain't
Mm-hmm.
talking about stopping and smell no roses. I'm just talking about take a moment to breathe,
Right.
because that's what we don't do.
Don't do. I mean, and why do you believe that people have that mentality? Do you think that it was like drilled in them growing up, or they just
For
was
some,
used?
for some it was. For
Mhm.
some, they saw they granddaddy, grandmama, and mama, and all them working so hard.
Mhm.
Or for some, it was that, we didn't have this growing up, so I want to make sure I got to work like this in order to get it. But it never works,
Mhm.
because even if you saw grandmama and granddaddy constantly working the way they worked, it didn't work for them either,
Right.
because they were too tired to do this, or too worn out to do this, or got to a point where their body shut down at the time,
Mhm.
way before it was meant to.
Mhm.
Or you working because you saying, I want to make sure that I give my kids everything I didn't have. I want to make sure that I do this, and this, and it never works. just take just take the time, and people, I don't have time. Yes, you do.
Yes, you
You
do.
make time for everything else.
Absolutely.
You make time for everything else. You get up in enough time in the morning time to put all your makeup on and make sure your baby hairs is laid right, your lashes are looking good. Take the same way you take that time is the same way you take time for your mental. Because if not, you run the risk of being depressed,
And burning
and then
out.
you'll be saying, I don't know where this came from all of a sudden, because you're tired.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you are mentally drained. Your
Mm-hmm.
body can't take nothing no more. And so your mind is in overload. So when your mind is in overload, your mind going to eventually shut down to the point when you're trying to figure out, where all this coming from. Here I am sitting, and I'm having all these thoughts in my mind because you're tired.
Yes.
You're tired, you're hungry, you ain't got no other space, you at full capacity, and you don't even realize it. And before your body shut down on you need to shut down. Even if
Yes.
it's stepping away from social media, if it's taking, this or whatever it is, take the moment. Everything gonna be there. Everything gonna be there when you get back. The job gonna be there. If you take a week vacation, it's still gonna be there. Because if something happened to you, if you get to a point where you are fully disabled, they're gonna replace you. If you die, they'll send a flower to the funeral home. They're gonna replace you.
Listen.
So take the time.
Take the time. I mean, it's there. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and time is something that we cannot get back. So I try to use my time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
I try to use my time wisely.
Mm-hmm.
And there's always gonna be something going on.
Yep, always.
Always something going on. So you still have to learn how to breathe through those moments and know that it's okay. Because when you're restless, you lose focus.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is not balanced.
Yep.
You miss certain details that can set you back or cause something major to happen. You
make simple mistakes that you would never make.
Yep.
You make simple mistakes you would never make. And it's because your body is so fatigued that you don't even catch the mistake that you're making.
Mm-hmm.
Until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And and then or it's just like you sitting at a red light and fall asleep.
Yes.
Or you're driving home and you fall asleep because you're so tired, because you got to keep going. I got to keep going. Or the people who are the strong ones in the family, and you feel like that you got to be the strong one because everybody is always depending on you. Say no. And be good with saying no. I tell people all the time, if you can't give me a moment to tell you no this time, then baby, let me bless you with the ministry of the deuces. Because when I'm sick, you ain't gonna show up. If you constantly calling me, can you pick me up from work? Can you take me by the grocery store? Can you run over to Walgreens and get my prescription? Can you do all this thing? At some point, you gotta say no. Even look, I get with you tomorrow. But for tonight, I ain't going nowhere else because I'm tired. I've been running since 5 o'clock this morning. I'm tired. My body's tired. My legs tired. My feet hurt. I'm taking this moment. Whatever it is that you need me to do, I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow. And you got to be okay with saying no. You got to be okay with making sure that your space, you got the space to even be you. Because if you're constantly being the strong person, they call you, they want you to plan every funeral that happened in the family. They want you to deal with everybody who's sick. They want you off today. Well, can you come take me to the grocery store all the time? No.
This is my day.
I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because I'm taking this time for me.
Right.
And, you got to get to a place where you even taking days off work and not even tell nobody because you want that day to be just your day.
Yes, I used to be like that. Oh my goodness. But now, I mean, and I do have certain people that will try to make me feel guilty about taking some time, or I don't want to come up there today. I don't feel like going today. I don't want to do that. Well, you never know. You just caught me at a bad time and you're not used to me saying no. Right. So now it's you trying to make it seem like it's a constant thing. It's not. Because the only time I hear from
you can weed some people out by saying no.
Oh yeah.
You can weed them out by saying no.
But it's always the ones that never check in, but always call you with some crap. Like they never say, hey, I was just calling to check on you. No, girl, let me tell you what happened. I just pray for me. I'm going through like if you always going through something, you need to take some self-inventory.
Right.
Take a look in the mirror and see who is do you like the person staring back at you? Because I've done that and I didn't like that person. And so I was intentional enough to make the changes.
If you don't take the moments, you run the risk of getting to a place of not liking you, because you are at a place mentally where you so tired, your patience running thin, because you're tired, and you just wake up one morning and you in this irritable mood, and you don't know why. You don't want nobody to deal with you. It's because you ain't taking the time for you.
Yeah,
You're
you
doing
ain't dealing with
everything for
yourself.
everybody else.
Yeah.
You handling the business for everybody else except you, and you trying to figure out what is coming from all of a sudden. And you sit down for a moment to say, I don't like who I done became, but I done became this person because I'm saying yes to everybody but me. I'm telling everybody else yes, but I ain't took no time to tell me yes. Where is your yes?
Yes.
Yes to say yes. I'm finna take this day for me. Yes, I'm finna take me a mental health day. Yes, I'm finna end this relationship. Yes, I'm finna quit this job. Yeah, yes. Where is your yes? I mean, you saying yes to everybody else, everybody that call you, everybody that texts. Can I borrow this? Can you do this for me? And you saying yes to everybody, but when you
But
gonna say
yourself.
yes to you?
That's
Because
powerful.
we miss that. We
Yes.
miss saying yes, because it just take, me with my new grandbaby. Yeah, when she throws a fit to leave, there's times where I say, take her anyway, because I need a break. And it's nothing against her. It's just that I need a break.
Right.
And I can't feel guilty about that, because I run the risk of tiring myself out, or being too tired to even deal with her, or finding myself being so tired that I don't even feel her wake up in the middle of the night and something may happen, stuff like that.
Yes.
And that's what we do when we're always saying yes, when we're always on the go, when we're always dealing with this, when we're always doing this. We have to take the time to say yes to us for a change.
Absolutely.
I'm saying yes to me resting. I'm turning off my phone, but my phone do not disturb. I ain't answering nothing. If there's something for an emergency, I deal with it when I get up. Yeah. But this is what I'm gonna do.
I mean, because if it's that bad, I can't do anything in it anyway. So
right. Right.
But I did a blog post on that. I need a break before I break. And that is so true. A lot of people's like, what you like, they got it, but they didn't get the full intensity behind it. Like, you need to take a step back before you break. It's okay to take a step back, especially when you feel yourself not operating as yourself, or people around you can tell that you're in a bad mood. Although you don't want to talk about it, they can tell, they sense it, they feel it, they see it on your face. It's in your actions, it's in your work, really.
Yeah,
too.
then they whisper behind your back, somebody, what's wrong with her today? She ain't herself. And then who you are saying, I'm good, I'm okay, I'm fine, but you're not realizing the change in you. Only thing you're saying is, I'm good, I'm fine, I don't want to talk about it. But here they are saying, what's wrong with her? That ain't like
That's
her. Or she made a mistake that she'll never make. She'll never do this.
There's something going on.
You ain't even noticing, but it's all over you, because and that's what happens. When we don't take the time. You constantly saying, I sleep when I'm dead, all that type of stuff. Now, baby, you better take the time. You better take the time to breathe. Because if you get to a point to where it's too overwhelming, and you're gonna wish you had took the time to do it, because and again, it goes back, like you said, to your health problems, all those type of things, because you're not taking care of you.
Right. And then you feel like there's no way out, and there's always a way out, but you have to do like you have to want better to do better.
Right.
And let's get into a little bit, like, what can you do when you feel like there's no way out? Breathing through it, knowing that this too shall pass. But what can you tell a listener who may be feeling like they don't have a way out?
When you get to a place in your life where you're feeling like there is no way out, then it's time to talk to somebody else who may have a direction that you can't see. And I know, especially in the Black community, especially with women in ministry, all those type of things, you tend to either you don't think you have the time, or there's always already a stigma on Black women being emotional. Folks say you're emotional, you angry, you this or you that. When most times you just need some help.
Yep.
You just need somebody to talk to, somebody who don't know you and your problem, somebody who you can go sit on their couch and for a minute and just,
Release.
divulge everything that's been going on, some stuff that you don't even want to tell nobody else, so you can tell this person who is a stranger. When you get to a point in your life where you feel like there is no way out, it is. You just can't see it.
Right.
And that's when you know, and that's when you get to that point where you realize, I can't see a way out. So let me go to somebody else who may have different glasses on than I got.
Right.
Let me go to somebody else who may have different eyes than I got. Let me go to somebody who got more strength than I got at this moment. Let me go to somebody who got a little more hope than I got at this moment to tell me, baby, it won't always be like this. Just breathe. Let me tell you, it won't always be like this. Because we do get to that point. We can sometimes get to a place that we say, you know, I don't know where else. And especially in this day and time when the spirit of suicide is so high.
Oh, yes.
We're living in a time where the spirit of suicide is so high. And when you get to a place to where you say, I feel like there's no way out. Or you get to a place where you're constantly not dealing with the pain that you're going to. And I tell people all the time, either you give your pain a voice or it'll take yours. And when we're dealing with the darkness of situations and the enemy and all death, and we're dealing with grief, and we're dealing with this COVID-19, we're dealing with having to be quarantined for 14, 10, 5 days, whatever it is, that plays with your mind. And if you don't deal with it, you will find yourself at a place to say, I don't see no way out, even though the open door is right there in front of you. But because you're not dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with, you can't even see the way out.
Yes.
The door is right in front of you, but because your mind is so bogged down, because it goes back to, again, being hungry, being disoriented, being angry, being irritable, because when you're angry, you won't even see stuff for what it is.
It's like smoke and fog and clouds and everything else. You can't see it. You can't see it.
Anger distorts, it messes with your vision.
Yes.
Anger does that because it's like setting your soul on fire. And I don't think you can't even see now because the flames or the smoke is so thick, because that's what anger does. And if you don't deal with those things, you will get to that place of feeling like, ain't nobody never here for me, or there's nobody else here for me. And then the enemy starts speaking to you, telling you right. Nobody wants you. Nobody loves you. Nobody's never there for you. You are always there for them, and they ain't never there for you. They start using you against you. Then here you are. And then you feeling like that even though God has made the way out, you can't even see it. Even though the door is open right there, you won't see it, and you will find yourself saying, I don't see a way out. If you ever get to a point where you say, I don't see a way out, that means you need to get to somebody else who can help you see, give you some direction to the place that you need to get to.
Absolutely.
Ain't nothing wrong with therapy.
No.
I put therapy in almost every one of my books. There's nothing wrong with therapy, because sometimes you need to get some stuff off your chest that you ain't dealt with, some stuff that you don't want nobody else to know.
Right.
Some stuff that but here I am sharing it with somebody in a safe space that can get it off of me. Because if I keep it on me, the only thing it's going to do is bog me down.
Right. And I had a client to tell me, she said, I can sit and talk to you for hours because you don't want nothing from me. And I never looked at it like, therapy, counseling, coaching, and all that. Get somebody that don't know you.
Right.
Because then you feel led to be open and honest, and you have that trust because they don't want nothing from you.
Right. Somebody you can trust.
Yeah.
Somebody you can trust to say, let me get this off of me. Because when you're talking to them, you're not giving them your burdens, you're just releasing it from you.
Yes.
And sometimes it helps to tell somebody. It helps. And I tell people, journal, do art, do whatever form, break some. Just to release that pain, because if you don't, it'll eventually wear down.
Yeah, it'll eat you up. It would eat you up, eat you up. And I tell my clients that too. Like, everybody don't journal, but do something. You may not want to journal, but you might have a moment where you just want to write down what you're feeling. It's okay to do that. You don't even have to read it. Just get it out, throw it away, tear it up, burn it up, or whatever.
Right.
You don't have to share it with anybody. You just releasing it from what you have got going on, so it won't spread and fester and turn into something bigger.
Right.
Yes. So surviving past this moment, like the moment of feeling like you're stuck, the feeling that you can't breathe, like what are a few tips, if you will, or words that we can take to help us survive past the moment? Because we all have those moments where we feel, and nothing is going right. I don't know what to do. I need to breathe, but I don't know where to start, because I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
So what
But
can we do?
we sometimes look at being stuck as a bad thing.
Mm,
We because that's what has been drilled into our mental,
mm-hmm,
that even when as authors getting writer's block
mm-hmm,
or being stuck, because I found in 2017 when I couldn't write for nothing. I
mm-hmm,
mean, no matter what I tried, I couldn't write. And here I was thinking that it was me. I was thinking I had done something wrong, thinking God had punished me,
mm-hmm.
thinking all this type of thing. And sometimes it's not that we're stuck. It's that God is just pausing us for a moment to do some stuff in us that we can't do for ourselves. But we've been so busy.
Yeah.
We've been so busy doing other things that He sometimes has to shut us down. And I tell people that He'll shut us down to restart us because in that whole year, 2017, I kept saying, well, maybe writing ain't for me. Maybe, this ain't what God really had for me. Yeah, I wrote a couple of books and I thought they were pretty good, but 2017, I couldn't write to save my soul. Not realizing that God was preparing me in 2018 to release so many books back to back. I mean, I was writing books within a month's time. I was
Listen, and
releasing
I was
books.
like, what are you doing? I need to catch up. I need to catch up.
Here I am thinking that, it's because that's because it's been drilled into us that being stuck is a bad thing. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes those stuck moments gives us the opportunity to breathe. Sometimes it's in those stuck moments that refreshes our mind. It's sometimes in those stuck moments that give us a strength to get beyond this. But we don't see it because we automatically think stuck stuck is a punishment. We think stuck is God forsaking us. We stuck is us losing everything that we've become accustomed to. When sometimes it is just you needing to be reset.
Yeah.
For others, you may not be stuck, but you may be disobedient. Because it's just like when God has told you to do something, God has given you purpose and a plan, but you've been trying to tweak it to make it fit you. And then so here we are thinking that we stuck, nothing is going right. Well, now it's really not you being stuck, it's you being stubborn and disobedient to what God has told you to do. You ain't stuck, sis, you stubborn. Because God told you to do some stuff that you really don't want to do. God told you to forgive some people who you think you aren't supposed to forgive. God told you to apologize to some folks that you don't think you need to apologize to. Sometimes we can think we're stuck when we're being stubborn because we're being disobedient to what God has told us to do.
Yes.
Now, tell people, run it back. Go back and do everything God told you to do, because you thinking that if I do step 1, 4, and 5, I ain't gotta do 2 and 3. And God said, no, baby, you gotta do it all.
Gotta do it all.
Till you do it all, you're gonna be stuck right here.
Yeah.
You think, well, I done did the majority of it. Now God said do it all.
Right.
And so you thinking you stuck. Now you may just be stubborn and being disobedient. So there's different things to being stuck, and we have to be able to know the difference in whatever we are in our life. So that comes with prayer and fasting, because sometimes it all needs to do. The same way we detox our bodies, the same way we detox us spiritually. Yes. And so sometimes being stuck is not punishment. I don't ever think God will leave us stuck for a punishment. Sometimes it's just that we need to take inventory of what's going on around us, because there may be some things that God didn't even tell us to attach ourselves to. It's supposed to be an assignment, but we don't attach ourselves to it. And God said, no, baby, I didn't ever tell you to make a relationship out of it. I told you it was an assignment. So you're gonna detach yourself from that before you can move to the next level.
Yes.
Or, these type of things. And so we need to go back and see, why am I stuck here? Yeah. Is there something you need me to get? Is there something that I missed? Is there something you told me to do and I didn't do? And so sometimes it just take fasting, praying and fasting. God, show me. Show me what it is you will have for me. God, show me whatever it is that you will have me to do. And He'll show you.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of times we don't ask God because we don't want the truth.
We don't. Listen, and that's just like somebody that's always complaining and you give them a solution and they always got like excuses. You don't want a solution. You like attention.
Don't want a solution because them always complaining, them always needing help to get them the attention they need. So they don't want the resolution. They just want to keep complaining. They keep complaining. You got to keep hearing them. You get them a solution, they have to shut up. And see, a lot of people don't want that. And so that's why you have to have a hard conversation and say, why am I really stuck? Or am I really stuck?
Am I really stuck?
Sometimes it could be you in neutral. And you thinking it's the car. No, baby, you just in the wrong,
gear.
gear.
Yes.
You think it's the car, it ain't the car, you in the wrong gear.
Yes.
And that's how we are. That's how it is when we in life. You have to take a moment to say, let me figure out what's going on. Because sometimes, when everything seems to be going wrong all at once, you have to stop and say, let me figure out what's going on.
Gotta take that moment to breathe. Gotta take that moment to breathe. And I tell people all the time, I don't think being stuck is the problem. It's staying stuck is the problem.
Absolutely.
When you don't want a solution. You avoiding everything that you can see it, you just avoiding because you like it there. We find, the comfort zone. It's the comfort zone for a reason, right?
Right.
But there's no elevation in the comfort zone.
Right.
You got to get out of that. You got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Because sometimes it's an uncomfortable thing that you really able to see who you are.
Yes.
Because if everything is comfortable, everything stays the same, I can never know, because I never know what I'm able to do unless I try it.
Yes.
Sometimes sometimes it may be out of your comfort zone. Sometimes you might have to do it scared. Sometimes you might have to do it shaking and all that type of stuff, but you never know what you'll be able to do unless you try it. And you can't do that staying stuck in the same position. You have to move. Because if you're staying where you can't keep complaining about being where you are if you're not trying to change where you are. That's like I'm saying, I don't like this apartment we in. I just don't like it. But I'm constantly renewing the lease.
Renewing the lease. Yes.
But I don't like it here. Yeah. No, you have to be able to say, I'm stuck. Let me figure this out, or let me stop complaining and do something about it.
Right. Stop complaining and do something about it. And breathe through it the whole time.
Scared, all that stuff. Breathe through it the whole time.
Breathe through it. I promise you.
Every time we release a book, we gotta breathe through it because we don't know what.
We don't know who can. Exactly.
We think it's good, but here we are putting into the hands of people we ain't never met before, and we gotta listen to their opinion of it.
Yes.
But we gotta breathe through
it.
Here I am for the put this on Amazon. Let me. I don't know how it's gonna go, God, but let me breathe through it. And that's the way that's the way it has to be, because we don't know what the next minute holds. We don't know what the next moment of our life holds. We don't know what the next hour gonna be like. We don't know what the next day gonna be like. Right. None of those things. And you just have to breathe through the moment. You have to breathe through the grief. You have to breathe through the loss. You have to breathe through the pain. You got to breathe through the successes and the losses. You got to breathe through all. You have to breathe through all of it, because breathing keeps you focused. Breathing keeps you with strength. It keeps you moving. It keeps you moving, because the moment I stop breathing, I stop living.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You guys have been listening to Kicking It with KeKe. I am here with LaKisha Johnson, and we're talking about Dear Sis, breathing through the moments. Like she has dropped so many nuggets. I'm so serious. Like I be in awe. Like every time we have a conversation, I'm in awe. Because some of the stuff that you say, I'm like, man, it's going in the show notes. This going in the show notes. Like, crisis through the crisis. Really? Like,
and again, like I said earlier, a lot of people don't take the moment to breathe, because they know that if I sit down long enough, I'm gonna break. Yeah. And if I sit down long enough, then and then somebody might ask me why you crying, and I can't even tell them.
Can't tell them.
But sometimes it ain't no reason. I just need to cry. I just need to get through this. I just need to take a moment and let everything out. And and sometimes you need to cry, not because you have a valid reason, just because it's on you to cry. Right. And that's why I say cry, sis, through the crisis, because tears. The Bible tells us that those who go sow in tears will reap with joy. So that meant, and I did a sermon on this. So if I gotta cry, let me cry, because that tears is watering my seed. I don't know why I'm crying. I know if crying ain't gonna fix my problem, but let me cry, because my crying is watering my seed. And at some point, I gotta come back and reap everything from that harvest. So if I gotta walk the journey, cry, let me cry, because when I come back, I'm going to reap the harvest of those seeds. And sometimes that's what we have to do. We have to cry. We have to cry in that moment. Sometimes we got to sleep in that moment. Sometimes we got to pray in the moment. But all the time, and again, because if we stop breathing, we stop living. Yes. And I found that wherever there is life, there is hope. That's what
Yes.
God promised.
Mm-hmm.
And so if as long as I'm breathing, there's a potential for me to have hope. And as long as I got hope, I know that everything won't always be
Be
like
like
this,
this.
because
Mm-hmm.
I have to see beyond this moment. And I
Right.
can't see beyond this moment if I'm keep doing is complaining, being angry, saying this or saying that. No, let me take a moment to breathe, because God tells me that everything, it won't always be like
I
this.
won't
There's a
know.
promised hope for
Yes.
me after this moment. So
Right.
let me take a moment to breathe.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. And so tell everybody how they can connect with you. Like, how can they listen to Dear Sis? How can they connect with you and get your books and all of this kind of stuff? I know we're not talking about the books today, but we're going to plug them.
I'm on almost all social media platforms. I'm on TikTok as author LaKisha. I'm trying to build that page, and Dear Sis. Um,
Oh, so
TikTok, I
you
think
have
is
both
under.
of them? You have two of them?
I have
Okay.
both on TikTok. I have author LaKisha, and then it's underscore Dear Sis for TikTok. I'm also on Instagram. Instagram is Keisha Johnson, and underscore Dear Sis blog, I think. I'm on Facebook. So I'm on all, and majority of everything is my name. It's either Keisha Johnson or Author LaKisha. So you can find me on all those platforms. Um, for the books, I'm on Amazon. You can search my name. Everything is under my name. And or authorlakishajohnson.com. So I normally post the Dear Sis to all of the sites, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So you can find me on one or more.
Absolutely. And all of this will be in the description box, you guys, so y'all can go and support her. And man, listen, get some of that inspiration, and y'all will hear that voice that I be talking about. Y'all will get to hear that voice if y'all go and connect with her on this social media. All of the information will be in the description box, so you have no excuse not to connect with this amazing woman who can pour into your life in a positive way. And I am in awe. Like, everyone that I listen to, I'm like, wow, they just keep getting better and better. You need to write a book out, Dear Sis. Put them all together. Make a little mini movie or something. Put them all together so we can look at it. Get your YouTube channel and put them all on there.
Never thought that Dear Sis would be the way that it is, especially the one I did on moms. And now it's been traveling all over. But never thought that. I won't say I never thought, because I pray on it. I have my affirmations wrote down in my notes on my phone. I tell God, do what you do.
Yes.
You just all I'm doing is, you are the creator, you are the head of my life. You tell me what to do, and I'm doing it, and you handle the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get to a point where, even what I said, with books and all those type of things, God, I do the writing, you handle the rest.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with Dear Sis. So I pray and ask God, you make it a household name, because sometimes all you need is a moment.
Yes.
Is a moment of devotion for somebody to tell me, I'm proud of you, even if I don't know you, because sometimes you need to hear,
Yes.
Dear Sis, let's talk about the fact that you got up this morning and combed your hair and did all this when depression was speaking louder than your voice,
Right.
that's what you need sometimes. Or Dear Sis, I love you, even though you're surrounded by love, you don't feel love, but let me let you know that the curse is broken on your life.
Right.
Those type of things that we need to hear. So I knew that God would do something with Dear Sis. I didn't know what. And I still don't, because he works wonders beyond my imagination. But sometimes we just need that 60 seconds of devotional or encouragement to let me know that I can keep going, because things won't always be like this.
Right.
I don't know it all, but I know the one who knows it all.
Yes.
And so that's what I live by.
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes, because we live in a natural world with fleshly bodies, but and I won't proclaim to be perfect. I just proclaim to do what God told me to do, and whatever he tells me to do, I do. I don't post a Dear Sis without him, and some people say, why you don't post every day? I'm not posting without God giving me the unction to post something. Because it's never about the views or going viral. If I just help one somebody, then my work ain't in vain.
I say the same exact thing.
That's what it is. And in due time, God will do what he said. Because it's his. I'm only a servant leader of him.
Yes.
And so I ask God to give me wisdom and clarity because these are your people. They ain't my people.
Right.
And I can't serve them without you. So
Right.
you do what you do, God, because I never thought that looking at, from my perspective, it was just something God told me to do one day. Dear sis, never thought it would get to that point, but I'm trusting God to do it. And you never know who may need some encouragement. You
Right.
have so many
When
people
I
who are going
tell you
through
that they be
things.
right on time, man, listen. And I share them out, like I add them to my stories and stuff, or I send them to certain people who may need to hear that message. And they always say, "Oh my God, I needed to hear this. Thank you for sending it."
And you
So
never know, because I'll be asking God, okay, God, why you want me to say this? But I'm being obedient.
yes,
Because I
I'm
don't know
so
who may
glad.
need.
Keep that up. Keep doing it.
So I don't know who may. He wakes me up in the middle of the night. And I have my phone beside me because he wakes me up in the middle of the night, and I have to jot down,
So you
what
won't
he tell
forget.
me to say for just this, because you never know who needs it.
Right.
And sometimes it be me. I need it for myself, but he'll say this, or this type of thing. Then you'll have somebody to say, I needed to hear this today. And you never know, because you never know what somebody is going through.
Absolutely.
We can put on a facade. We can have these smoke screens up. We can do all those things. You never know what somebody is going through. So
Absolutely.
if 60 seconds of devotional can help somebody, or to stop somebody from committing suicide, or to give somebody hope to try again, or to just for somebody to breathe, then God, you do what you do, God. You handle that, and I do what you told me to do. If you want me to slap some lipstick on one more, okay, just tell me, and here I am.
Yes. Yes.
So that's
Love it.
what I do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So before we get off, I always do this thing called On a Personal Note, where I ask each guest, if you, as yourself right now, could tell your younger self anything about today's topic, what would you say?
Girl, keep going. Because there were some times that you that I didn't want to. Especially there was some times when it was rough, and it didn't even look like you were gonna make it through. Sometimes where it didn't. It seemed like things would never get better. Sometimes it felt like the struggle was gonna always be the struggle. So if I had to tell my younger self anything, it'd be, girl, keep going. Because again, many times I want to give up. And I tell people, when I'm preaching a sermon, writing a book, all those type of things, I tell people all the time that because the struggle was real, and it was at a point to where you say, either you breathe or you just give up on it. So if I could tell my younger self anything, is, girl, keep going, because life can get hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that encouragement or that strength to say, girl, keep going, because it won't always be like this. Just keep putting one foot before the others. Just keep getting up.
Right.
Because if you don't get up, you'll never know what it'll be like after this.
Absolutely.
So girl, keep going. Keep getting up. Keep trying.
Up. Yes. And breathe through it all, right?
Breathe through it all.
Breathe through it all.
Breathe through it all.
Yes. Well, you guys have been listening to another episode of Kicking It with KeKe, Life, Love, and all that other shit. My special guest for this evening has been LaKisha Johnson. We have been talking about some amazing things. If you're just tuning in, go back and hit rewind or something, like listen to the whole message. Before we get off, is there anything else that you would like to say to anyone who is listening today about just breathe through it?
If the only thing is, don't give up, because even if you just, like I've said before a couple times on this podcast, as long as you breathe, there's life. And where there's life, there's hope. Because where God places life, he places hope. And even though it may look like that you won't survive, even though it looks like things will never work out, even though it looks like things will never get better, even though it looks like you will always be sick, even though it looks like you'll have pain, all you got to do is just stay the course. Because I told the church on Sunday that sometimes we pray for God to heal us, when we can sometimes pray, God, if you don't heal me, just let me live with it. Because sometimes it ain't for us to be healed of, but just God just give me the strength to live with it. And that can be the prayer, because doctors can say no cure, man can say this, but God, even if you don't heal me, just give me the strength to live through it.
Wow.
And and that's sometimes what it has to be. Just God is giving me the strength to live through it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's amazing. That is power. If I don't have nothing else to say after that, y'all make sure that y'all tune in, like, share, comment, tell your friends. I am on all major platforms. If you don't want to watch the behind the scenes, which is on YouTube, you can always just go on and just listen. That's fine. I love that. The point being is to make sure you tune in and take away something that you can apply to your life on a daily basis that can improve your personal development. This is the purpose for this podcast and the guests that I have on. We all speak the same. It's in a different way with different perspectives, but it's all the same to make sure that you're operating as your best self and live the best
absolutely.
life that you can while you're here. Because I don't believe that God placed us here to be in lack, to be miserable, and all of those other things. I believe that we are supposed to have abundance and the best life that we possibly can. But we
Absolutely.
have to breathe through it, and we have to make sure that we work, because faith without work is what? Dead.
Absolutely did.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So until next time, you guys be intentional, be inspired, and be the best you that you possibly can. Talk to you later.